Folks, what's going on? Heir of Carthage back. Happy New Year. I was off for a couple of days. I was actually out camping with some friends. It was pretty fun. I got to camp. I have some rural property. We went out and camped on it. It was a good time. I'm now ready for a new year, and I hope you all are ready for a whole new year of content as well. We're going to continue to see a lot of Rome 2 Total War battles. In fact, I've got more replays that have been submitted by other folks, and also more from Sol Invictus. And we seem to have a really good time with these right now, so we'll continue it. I'll be continuing to play Warhammer 3, of course, as well. I'm going to be focusing mostly on campaign there, as that's where I'm just a little more interested right now than I am in the multiplayer, although I like it. But in any case, let's focus in on this battle. There's going to be 4 Germanic slingers up front. Germanic slingers, I mean, these things don't look amazing here on paper. They've only got 20 damage, but I mean, they got good range, and they're like most slingers. They're going to have good AP over time, and then, of course, cost factors into it. I don't think they cost a particularly large amount. There's support from 4 Germanic Scout Riders. These are excellent skirmish cavalry, both in a kind of a light melee scrap and as well as with their javelins. And then let's take a look at the rest of the units. We got some Spear Brothers on either flanks. These are kind of light spear units. We've got some Wodenaz Spears up the middle. I love Wodenaz Spears, really cool unit. It's got this 30 weapon damage spear here, which is better at armor piercing than most spears. So pretty potent unit. It's a medium infantry unit, very quick. Cavalry counter tactics, a couple special abilities there. There's more Wodenaz spears in the back line, so I can see at least 2 more. The general is a sword master, and then we've got a spear levy there, and another sword master, spear levy, and a spear brother in the back. So pretty interesting Suebi army here. Lots of, the lighter, kind of typical fast Suebi infantry. It's so interesting how Suebi got, like such a cool feel to it in terms of a faction. And it feels like some of the other factions didn't quite get that much love. Though I guess they all are a little unique at least. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Armenian army here. They're going to have Eastern Slingers. Now, Eastern Slingers, they're going to be better damage than the Germanic ones, supposedly. So we'll take a look at how this fight goes out. Should be interesting to see. We're going to see some cataphracts. We've got some Eastern cataphracts and a Royal cataphract. Dang, man, that's 3 Eastern cataphracts and a Royal cataphract. Suebi infantry is going to be in some serious trouble if they end up having to face these guys late game. However, the large number of Wodenaz spears could pay off big here, as they're going to be decent, or better against armor, I should say. And they have that cavalry counter tactics. There's going to be some Cartley axemen supporting, some just standard axemen here. And then let's take a look here. We got some Persian hoplites and then some hillmen up front. Sorry for the Windows notification, by the way, and that always gets in the way. Anyway, let's go ahead and hit the play button. It was on slow-mo, so we didn't miss anything. We've already got some horse archers out here. The Germanic Scout Riders are going to be an interesting counter to that. There's more of them. The horse archers have better range. I don't think either one of them is going to catch each other particularly easy. The Germanic Slingers, I'm curious what their shield value is. I don't know if they put block chance in the stats here, but it just makes me wonder because their shield looks a little different than standard Slingers. Otherwise, I mean, again, on paper, without looking at the cost, these guys look worse than the Eastern Slingers, but let's just check it out. So the Horse Archers and the Eastern Slingers, at least off the top of my mind here, would give Armenia the skirmishing advantage potentially, though I don't want to rule out these Germanic Scout Riders. There's 4 of them. They're very good, and in the right situation, they can cause a lot of trouble. Their javelins would be best spent against the cataphracts. It almost feels like the Suebi player here, which is, I believe, Sol, is just kind of avoiding the bowfire as best he can, maybe drawing it and avoiding it, using the Scout Riders to just kind of play a bit of cat and mouse. So this may be an attempt to just pull down ammunition. He did throw a couple of javelin volleys at least, or maybe threw some slingshots over there. I'm not sure, because it looks like one of the horse archers died. A little bit of damage to his Scout Riders. Nothing hugely significant yet. But remember that anytime you start to see a little bit of damage, it means that the health has gone down on that unit as well. The Horse Archers are going to continue to push here. I don't blame them. They could get some nice side shots into those Slingers or Spear Brothers, Wodenaz, anything they can hit. A lot of the Suebi units don't have great armor. Remember that archers aren't particularly good against armor, but they do a lot of damage compared to slingers. They tend to have a little less ammunition, but they do their damage and can do it more quickly than the Swingers. The Slingers may be able to do more damage in total, but the Archers are going to do it more quickly. So, kind of take a look here. Now, this is an interesting tactic. The Horse Archers have really been harassing one flank. The Scout Riders are now going to come harass the other. This might force some action from the Horse Archers, and if not, then the Scout Riders are going to kind of have a run of it over here. Those Cataphracts would be some very juicy targets for some Javelins, so we'll see whether or not that ends up being the case. The Cataphracts would be very susceptible to Javelin fire. See, this is some nice kind of bait and retreat going on here. He's taking minor casualties with it. This is pulling a lot of ammunition out of the Horse Archers, and it's giving very little return. Yeah, the Slingers see this coming, and they made those Germanic Scout Riders pay a price there. They are definitely wanting to ding these Cataphracts, but right now Armenia's having none of it. They're pushing them back with the Axemen, and they've got the Slingers turned. With the Slingers turned, though, I wonder, does it provide an opening for the Germanic Slingers to get in here? Let's see. Because, I mean, if you can force one of these Slingers to turn and then they get counter-engaged, that would be really bad. So I like the Scout Rider play behind here, and it could eventually force those Horse Archers back home, or it may end up costing Armenia, depending on how things go here. Let's see. Yeah, he's definitely going for the Cataphracts. Armenia is well aware of it. Ooh. Brutal. Those Slingers did it. But look at this. Now the Suebi Slinger is going to have a chance to move into position while the Eastern Slingers are out of position. Armenia may just fall back here. Boy, that Scout Rider. They felt that. Now, with these units running away, if they take a shot in the back, the shields aren't going to help. It's just a Hillman unit, but if they take a savage volley here, oh, yeah, they're going to feel that one in the morning. Just a Hillman unit, so it's not the end of the world, but yikes. Nice Javelin tosses here, putting some damage into the Cataphracts. It also forced the Cataphracts forward. Now the Slingers have them targeted. If they get a volley in there too, again, that could be really nice. I don't know if they're going to. It's going to be late. Yeah, it came in. It's a little bit late, but yeah, oof. Nice damage into the back of the Cataphract. Remember, Slingers do better AP damage than Archers, unless heavy shots turned on for Archers, of course. All right, now we're going to get a little bit of skirmish. So the Eastern Slingers have turned around. They put some fire into the Germanic Slingers. That did draw the Horse Archers home, and as those Horse Archers come home, the Germanic Scout Riders are going to start hitting the other flank as well. So I like this split play with the Scout Riders. It's making them a really difficult nuisance right now. So this is going to be another one of those long opening skirmish phases. Wow, look at that. It was a shot at the Cataphracts again. Well, the Cataphracts are going to take some serious hit point damage. That's going to make them a lot less combat effective. Look here, the Germanic Slingers under fire from the Eastern Slingers. Let's see how this trade goes. I'm curious. Let's take a look at the health stat here, see if it's any different. 45. Both 45. Armor 15. 30 armor on the Germanic Slingers. They do have more armor. I'm not sure what armor we're talking about. Most of these guys aren't even wearing a shirt. So I guess that's some, like, armored flannel or striped pants or something. Wow, they just absolutely trashed that Eastern Slinger. A little bit of focus fire going on there. So the Germanic Slingers now have a pretty significant leg up here. This is going to really start to pressure Armenia to do something because they're now down on the Slinger fight, and I think that was just some nice focus fire there that helped accomplish that. Looks like it's about to happen again. You'll notice that the Germanic Slingers are kind of overloaded over here to Armenia's right, and some of their Slingers aren't in position yet to help return fire, and that one unit already got singled out, and it looks like another one's going to get singled out here too. Focus fire can be very good if it's used, you know, in the right situation, the right time. That's some nice tosses there. It looks like the Suebi are going to back off. They don't want that fight yet. I don't think they want to take on these Cataphracts at full health. So it looks like the entire army falling back. And then nice harassment here from the Germanic Scout Riders. Tossing some javelins into those Cataphracts. Just constantly picking at the Cataphracts. Spear Brothers. And the Spear Levy here kind of warding off the Horse Archers. That's nice play. You want to keep them off your flank. A little bit of fire coming in here from the Eastern Slingers, so they're getting a little bit of return fire, but Man, yeah, this is interesting. Those Eastern Slingers, I would have expected them to do quite well, but they're really not doing very well in a one-on fight against the Germanic Slingers. And I mean, the stats say that their damage is better, their range is the same, their health is the same. I have to imagine that maybe there's either a difference in block chance or that difference in armor might be playing the difference. Which again is funny, because if we're talking armor, I mean, these guys are wearing pajamas, and these guys are like wearing pajama pants with no shirt. Most of them. Some of them have the shirt on, so I mean, it doesn't seem all that different in terms of outward appearance. I think that was always kind of the loving nickname of the Eastern Infantry or whatever in Rome 1. They were the Pajama Warriors. Man, this is a brutal skirmish fight so far. I still feel like that the Suebi are getting the better of it. They're pitching shots maybe at the Axemen right now. Yeah, it looks like the Hillmen, sorry, are the ones taking the shots at the moment. It's almost like they're ignoring the Eastern Slingers. I mean, they have a numbers advantage on them still. I guess they feel like maybe at points there's just better value to be put in. Like they'll either tag the infantry, either that or it's just the auto fire before they get a target, you know, from them. Looks like some focus fire going on again. These two units are both under fire. Eastern Slingers. Germanic Slingers, and we just kind of get a continual fallback here. It looks like there's a horse archer trying to put some pressure on the Slingers. It takes a face full of javelins. And then over here, the Germanic Scout Riders caught the horse archers, and the Scout Riders are going to do just fine in melee against these horse archers. They actually excel. See, they have the same kind of shield there. Scout Riders do. It makes me curious. I don't know how to see the shield block value. In Warhammer, there's like a bronze, silver, gold that kind of gives you some idea. I don't think it's a visible stat in the bar here. Russ, cycle mode, yeah. There's not any additional information, I don't think. Well, I mean, actually, I know it'll show what it does to melee defense in terms of the shield value, but I don't think it shows it anywhere in terms of the missile defense. But maybe that's a hint, right? I don't know. Maybe if we look at it from a melee defense, maybe it shows up there as well. So the shield value shows at 20 for them on melee. Again, I don't know if this will actually be accurate, but let's just take a look. Eastern Slingers, melee defense. They should have a better shield value in terms of that, so yeah, I don't know. But the Suebi, the Germanic Slingers seem to be doing well. Again, maybe it's the armor or something. There's a fast charge. Uh-oh. Suebi fast charge, and here it comes. The Woden-ass spears are going to crush these Hillmen. Those Spear Brothers are not under the influence of fast charge, but the Swordmasters are, so this is going to be brutal. The Swordmaster is going to be laying down the hurt, and they are in the period of it where they're getting a charge bonus. So those, oh my gosh, look at the kills just amassing on the Woden-ass spears. Yeah, the Suebi get a brutal headlong charge into here. This Woden-ass spear took a vicious cataphract charge, but then turned it around and basically took out over half of that Royal Cataphract, and then turned and charged into the Cartley Axemen. So a really nice fast charge action here. The Swordmasters get a clean charge into the Eastern Cataphracts, catch them on the hoof with the support of the Woden-as. I don't see a cavalry counter tactics there yet. Maybe we will here in a moment. It was popped over here on this unit. Man, this Woden-as spear got some value. It has got so many kills. So the Cataphracts obviously would have been very, very dangerous here, and this one is. It's now moving into the back lines. These Spear Brothers and Woden-as are going to need to get over here. Like, for instance, right here, it could probably crush that Spear Levy in a hurry. And it's obviously hesitant. It may, like, I mean, if it charges these Spear Brothers, it's just going to get javelined by the units behind it, so I'm not sure I agree with this charge. I kind of feel like maybe it should have cleaned up that fight and then used the hoplites as a shield. I mean, they crushed that Spear Brother. But is it worth it? I don't know, because the Woden-as are following up right behind them. And now you're going to take a lot of rear fire as you retreat from a very cheap target. Look at the Slingers just pouring it in. Yeah, that Eastern Cataphract got mostly decimated right there. Up the middle, the Swordmasters are having a time of it. The General, though, for the Suebi, a little bit beat up. He's got Pride dropped, which is going to increase his armor piercing. That'll be really handy against these Cataphracts because their armor is obscene. A few Eastern Slingers left. The Woden-as cleaned that up. There's some Scout Riders that can get those Slingers. So this one turned into the Suebi's favor very quickly off of that fast charge. Fast charge is extraordinarily deadly. And especially with the Wodenaz there and the cavalry counter tactics, they can put out a vicious charge, even in the face of cataphracts. They're going to do it over here. See, look at that cavalry counter tactics. The javelins, the slinger fire. These cataphract units are just going to get mowed down. So the Suebi doing Suebi things in this match. Fast charging, skirmishing, things that they are really quite good at, especially for a barbarian faction. Typically people think of these eastern factions like Armenia as a superior skirmishers, and they could be, you know, depending on the army pick. But in this case, the Suebi out-skirmished, and then they got a really excellent charge and closed out the fight very nicely indeed over Armenia. So let's go take a look at the stats here. So Sol Invictus and Lone Berserker were the players here. GG to both players, appreciate them. Definitely appreciate seeing these good players get to go head-to-head. I mean, nice kills on the Swordmasters and good kills on the Wodenaz Spears, at least 2 of them. This one got a little bit crunched, but the other ones were in a good position to continue to do more damage. I think pretty good value out of the Germanic Scout Riders because, I mean, you all saw them doing the harassing and kind of forcing the moves. The Germanic Slingers don't appear to have taken a whole lot of damage, so they were still in that fight, and you saw what they were doing to those cataphracts after the charge. Pretty impressive stuff. And then I like the use of the Spear Brothers here. I think they also had cavalry counter tactics. So an interesting pick there just to make sure that he could handle heavy cavalry. And it worked. The cataphracts were mostly limited. This may have been the one that charged that spear unit late. Again, I almost wonder if they maybe shouldn't have tried to clean up the flank, use the hoplites to block, and then go clean up more units. At that point, it was probably too late regardless, because of the fast charge going on. And some people might be thinking, hey, when the Suebi fast charge, could you just punch them in the face with the cataphracts and then brought the infantry in? I mean, maybe the problem with fast charge is it makes the Suebi infantry so powerful that even if they're not braced, I'd be worried about how much damage they're going to throw back in the face of your cataphracts. Honestly, the best way to react to a Suebi fast charge is to run away and throw a couple of cheap units in their way, maybe let them absorb that, and then come back and counter after they're already tired from the fast charge. It's easier said than done in those situations, but, you know, that's probably the best way to get around one of those situations. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this one. Appreciate Soul sending it over. Like I said, I've got replays that came in from other folks too, so just to let people know, and I won't say any last names or anything, but I had emails, it looks like from Madi and Rocco, and then I see some more from Andrew. So it looks like there's a couple of different folks who have sent me some emails. I will be checking those out. Soul is continuing to send me battles as well. If you all want to send me anything from Rome 2, or you have any specific questions, this is something I considered too. Like if someone asks me a question like, hey, there's this faction, I need help with this faction, or this campaign, and that kind of stuff, just go down in the comments, hit me up with some questions. We might make some more content. I know it's an old game, but there appears to be a lot of interest in it. It's what my channel was built off of back in the heyday anyway. So you know what, why not? We'll have some fun with it. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Hope you had a good day and a happy new year. HeirofCarthage signing out.